Hi guys, we're writing equations part 2 today. Now you're doing this on your own piece of paper, so go ahead and write the title please. And we're going to review a little bit about what we've done. We're going to add one kind of new thing, and then we're going to add some situations. Okay? So, let's do a review, okay, of the steps of writing equations. In order to write an equation, the first thing we need to have is the slope. So sometimes it tells us the slope, or if it doesn't, then you have to do the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, that's a review. The second thing we do is we plug in 2y equals mx plus b. Right? And then the third thing you're going to do is you're going to write your equation. So it should be somewhat familiar. Now, a lot of y'all did very well with this yesterday, but one day is not enough. We got to make sure that we are practicing. Okay? So here's your first example. Slope of 3 and go through that point. Now, I know it's not a question, but basically I'm asking you to write that equation where it's a slope of 3 and it goes through 4, 9. Okay? So the first thing we have to do is find slope. Well, we don't actually have to find slope because it tells us. So that's already done. So I need to plug into y equals mx plus b. Now, for some of y'all, this was very, very easy, and for some of y'all, this was a lot more tricky. So just remember, if you have that point, just put little x's and y's underneath it, and then it can tell you what's going on here. So instead of y, I'm going to write 9 equals, my slope is 3, parenthesis, my x is 4, plus b. Okay? I draw my line. 9 equals 3 times 4 is 12, plus b, and then we solve. So most of y'all are doing pretty good with the solving. I haven't had any problems except for just being careful like making opposites. 9 minus 12 in your head or the calculator is negative 3. Okay, and then the third thing we have to do is write your equation. So y equals, remember my slope here is 3, so 3x, and then minus 3. Now real quick, this is the answer, you're good. Now I had some kids ask if they could put the y-intercept first, like put the negative 3 plus 3x. Technically these are both the same. More often than not you're going to see this first version, but both of those are the same, so like that is just as correct as this. So just let you know you can switch it if you so choose to do so. Okay, the second way we learned about the other day was when we have 2 points. So it goes through, that says 2, 3, and 4, 7. Well, this one's a little different because they don't give us the slope, we need to find it. Some of y'all were having a lot of issues with this y2 minus y1 stuff. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to put x's and y's underneath here. And you could put your 1s or your 2s wherever. Just because that point comes first, I'm going to put 1s here and then 2s here, but it really doesn't matter which one you pick. So y2 is 7 minus y1 is 3 over x2 is 4 minus x1 is 2. So 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then what some of y'all weren't doing, and I need to make sure you're doing, is you need to divide this. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Good. Slope is 2. Now, a lot of you on your assignment yesterday, y'all got that far, but then you didn't know what to do next. Either that you just gave me that as your answer, or you're kind of like, meh, I don't know, whatever. So, that's good, but then you need to pick one of these points and plug into y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to write it. And I'm going to pick 4, 7. It doesn't matter which one you pick, but I'm just going to pick that one, okay? So, my y value is 7, so I'm going to put a 7 here. Equals, my slope is 2. My x value is 4 right there. Plus b. And then I just solve. So 2 times 8, or 2 times 4 is 8. Plus b. And then I subtract 8. And 7 minus 8 is negative 1. Okay? So then I write my equation. Y equals, you told me the slope was 2, so 2x minus 1. That is my lovely answer. Okay? So that's pretty much a review. I just want to make sure you're 100% aware of that. Now here's something new. What about a table? Okay? Write an equation that makes this table. So pause and copy that down real quick. So we're going to do 2 things. We're going to write we're not doing 2 things. That's the next time. This might look different than what you already know how to do, but it's actually the exact same thing as this. Okay? So I need to write an equation that makes this table. So all you have to do that's different, the only new thing that you have to do, I'll put it in red here, is pick any, it really doesn't matter at all, any 2 points. And you're going to ask, well, why am I picking 2 points? Well, remember, you have to have 2 points in order to find the slope. So you're just picking any 2. I don't care which 2 you pick. Now, some kids want to say, like, oh, I like the positives, or it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go ahead and just pick my positive numbers here. I'm going to pick these 2. But you could have picked the top one and the bottom one, or the first, it doesn't matter. Okay? And I'll go ahead and put my x's and y's, and x's and y's, and 1, and 2. Okay? So, remember, it's y2, which is 1, minus y1, which is 3, over x2, which is 1, minus 0. Now, if you could have flipped this, you could have done 3 minus 1 and 0 minus 1. That's fine, as long as you kept it the same. It'll be the end or it'll be good at the end. 1 minus 3 in your calculator is negative 2, and 1 minus 0 is just 1. Negative 2 divided by 1 is just negative 2. So that is the slope. This, what we're doing right here, is the exact same thing as this over here, okay? You just have to pick your 2 points. Then we do our y equals mx plus b. And now you have to pick any point. It doesn't have to be the 2 points you picked. You can pick any point you want in order to fill this in. And just for fun, since I haven't used it, I'm going to go ahead and use the bottom point. It does not matter what point you pick, though. You could have picked any of them at all. Okay? So my y value here is negative 1. You told me the slope was negative 2. And then my x value is 2. Plus b. Negative 1 comes down. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus b. And then I have to get rid of this guy. So the opposite of a negative 4 is a positive 4. Negative 1 plus 4, you can do it in your head or the calculator. It's just a positive 3. Good. And now let's write this out. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. Whoop. Okay. Alright, so if I give you a table, and you will see these in algebra, on your EOC, whatever, all you have to do is pick any 2 points you want, find the slope, plug it in, there you go. Alright, last example, then we're done. And this is about, what about situations? We've done this before, but we're going to add one more thing to it that you should know, but we're going to just go over it because you're going to see it later in algebra. This here says, write an equation for the below situation. I do want you to write that. You don't necessarily have to write that word for word, but I do need you to write this. Sarah charges a service charge of $35 and then $15 an hour. You can't read that. That's like a money sign there. $15 an hour. If there's a period, you just can't see it. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to do something else in a second, but the first thing we have to do is write the equation. Now, with a lot of you guys, you don't know where to start, like what letter. If it doesn't give you letters to use, I would almost always start with y equals. Okay, y equals. Sarah charges a service charge of $35, which basically means no matter what, she's charging $35. And then, on top of that, she's charging $15 an hour. So we'll put plus $15 an hour. So you can put 15x or 15, I'm going to put h, but you can put whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay? This is pretty simple. So that's the part that you should know. Okay? The extra part that you also should know, but I normally haven't made you write yet, is this right here. And I do want you to write this down, because you're going to have to do this on your assignment. Explain the meaning of the slope and the y-intercept. So the key word here is the meaning. So I'll show you how that is. So let's talk about the slope quick, okay? So the slope, I want complete sentences here. We're almost done. The slope is, well, what is the slope? Slope's the number with x. Well, there is no number with x, but that's where the x normally is. So the slope is a positive 15. And it represents, these are the words I want you to use. So whatever you're going to put the slope is negative 3 and it represents, or the slope is 12 and it represents. And what does that number represent? It's 15, what? Dollars per hour, right? So you can put it represents the charge per hour or how many dollars per hour or whatever you want to put. I'm going to put represents how much you pay per hour. Okay, something like that, but that's what it means. Okay, it doesn't represent hours. A lot of people put that. It represents the hours. No, the slope represents how much money you're having to pay per hour. Okay, and then the y-intercept here is 35. So I'm going to put the y-intercept. You can go ahead and put it if you want to. Is 35. And it represents. Now, a lot of times, your y-intercept, the meaning of it can be found in the sentence. So it says, she charges a service charge of $35. So that $35 represents the service charge. Because that's what it told me. So it represents the service charge. Okay? And before we go real quick, this right here, this sentence, the slope is blank and it represents blank. That's what I need to see on your assignment. The y-intercept is blank and it represents blank. Okay, complete sentences. That's what I needed to say. If you have questions, call me over. If not, get to work, please.